that's only on about 2.5. Here's on 4. I have to turn the treble down at that point, for me. Treble and mids have to come down for me. Still too bright for me.
There's a presence there, I don't know.
Yeah.
That one.
I still, yeah, I mean, I hear. It's a very good sound in amp. It's not totally my thing. And it's interesting because you say Paul's the one that doesn't like the top. To me, this is the one I'm having the hardest time getting that real top out of. Like I got the presence and everything turned way back. So now we have the bright switch on the cut position. So now that's closer to me to where all the other amps were. But I still have, but the treble and everything's turned down lower than on any of the other amps. So I'm going to turn those back up a notch with the bright switch on the treble cut position. And because the amp has more gain in it, you hear the delays are louder than they were with the other amps. So I'm going to knock the delay back a little bit. That's another thing, when you add gain into the amp, your effects will be more pronounced. And a lot of people complain, you know, I always have a question almost every time we do one of these, you know, people that have issues with delays going into amps with a lot of gain. And that's why they like effects loops. And I think that's why myself and all the studio players that I work with don't use ultra high gain amplifiers. Because when you use delay with ultra high gain in the amp, it gets a little bit dirty, trashy sounding. And rather than add in the whole complexity of an effects loop and all that extra circuitry, we tend to use the overdrive pedals, as long as they're good sounding overdrive pedals, before the delays, so that you're delaying the distorted signal, as opposed to sending a delay into a distorted sound. So that was just sort of an illustration of when you have more gain in an amplifier, and that's not even set to where it's really gainy, that my delays were much more prominent to me. So. That's a great tone for like a Van Halen kind of thing. I think that's really nice, because a lot of times when you get that tone, you sacrifice the bottom end, and the bottom end is off. There's great bottom end there. They changed the strings on this guitar this morning, and it's just neither one of us have had coffee yet. The guitar must. So let's just try turning the master down to 5. Halfway down, and see what it sounds like. I bet I'm going to have to add some top end, back in. Not necessarily. No, but you hear how pronounced the delay is, and I keep turning the delay down, and that's what happens with the extra gain. Tone, but for me, it's just it doesn't have the touch. sensitivity